The real estate exam uses tricky wording to test your knowledge. In this video, we'll tackle 52 challenging real estate principles questions to hone your skills. Plus, check out the bottom corner for a feature designed to boost your exam prep. We'll explain it shortly. Let's dive in.
Let's start off with some tricky questions covering the foundations of real estate. Real versus personal property, fixtures, trade fixtures, emblements. Which of the following statements about fixtures is not true? Is it A, fixtures are generally considered real property? B, fixtures can be removed by the tenant if agreed upon? C, fixtures may include items like built-in appliances? Or D, fixtures are always considered personal property? The answer is D. Fixtures are always considered personal property. What makes this one tricky? The question uses a negative wording, asking for what is not true. A fixture is generally considered real property, not personal property, once attached to the land. In which scenario would a trade fixture remain with the property after a lease ends? Is it A, the tenant removes the fixture before lease termination? B, the lease explicitly states all fixtures remain tenant property? C, the tenant fails to remove the fixture after lease expiration? Or D, the tenant sells the fixture to the landlord? The answer is C. The tenant fails to remove the fixture after lease expiration. What makes this one tricky? The question involves understanding the exceptions. Trade fixtures typically remain personal property unless the tenant leaves them beyond the lease term without removal.
Have you noticed the code in the bottom corner? Next time you're stumped, take that code to birdsy.ai for immediate help and a free study session with Birdsy, your personal AI study partner. Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of additional questions, helping you move closer to passing your exam with confidence. The next time you're feeling unsure or stuck, give it a try.
Which statement best describes emblements? Is it A, emblements are crops grown by a tenant and considered personal property? B, emblements are always part of the real property? C, emblements refer to permanent plantings like trees? Or D, emblements are fixtures installed by the tenant? The answer is A, emblements are crops grown by a tenant and considered personal property. What makes this one tricky? Emblements are crops planted by a tenant farmer, which remain the tenant's property even after lease expiration, unlike other real property. If a tenant installs a display case in a rented store, how is it classified? Is it A, real property as it's attached to the building? B, personal property as it is a trade fixture? C, a fixture which cannot be removed? Or D, an emblement due to its commercial use? The answer is B, personal property as it is a trade fixture. What makes this one tricky? The question involves distinguishing between trade fixtures and other types of property. Trade fixtures are personal property used in a business, removable by the tenant. Which of the following is a characteristic of a trade fixture? Is it A, permanently attached and part of the real estate? B, cannot be removed without damaging the property? C, installed by a tenant for business purposes? Or D, always remain with the property after lease expiration? The answer is C, installed by a tenant for business purposes. What makes this one tricky? The question tests understanding of trade fixtures' unique characteristics. Trade fixtures are installed for business use and typically remain personal property. Which statement is true regarding the classification of a chandelier in a residential property sale? Is it A, a chandelier is always personal property? B, a chandelier is generally considered a fixture? C, a chandelier is never included in the sale of a home? Or D, a chandelier can only be classified as personal property? The answer is B. A chandelier is generally considered a fixture. What makes this one tricky? The question's phrasing may lead to confusion between personal and real property. A chandelier is typically considered a fixture, thus part of the real property, unless specified otherwise in a contract. In the context of a leased commercial property, which statement about trade fixtures is incorrect? Is it A, trade fixtures are typically removable by the tenant? B, trade fixtures are considered personal property? C, trade fixtures become the landlord's property if not removed? Or D, trade fixtures are used to conduct business? The answer is C, trade fixtures become the landlord's property if not removed. What makes this one tricky? The question uses negative wording, asking for the incorrect statement. Trade fixtures are personal property and typically removable by the tenant, not the landlord. Bundle of rights and property ownership concepts. Which of the following rights allows a property owner to lease their property to another party? Is it A, right of exclusion? B, right of enjoyment? C, right to lease? Or D, right of disposition? The answer is C, right to lease. The right to lease is part of the bundle of rights, allowing property owners to permit others to use their property for a specified period, often in exchange for rent. What is the primary function of the right of possession in property ownership? Is it A, allows the owner to occupy the property? B, permits the owner to sell the property? C, enables the owner to lease the property? Or D, allows the owner to prevent trespassing? The answer is A, allows the owner to occupy the property. The right of possession is a fundamental component of property ownership, granting the owner the legal authority to occupy and control the use of their property. Which of the following best illustrates the concept of right of control in property ownership? Is it A, selling the property to another party? B, renovating the property? C, refusing entry to others? Or D, enjoying peaceful use of the property? The answer is B, renovating the property. The right of control allows property owners to determine how their property is used, such as making improvements or changes within the boundaries of the law and local regulations. In the context of real estate, what does the right of exclusion specifically allow a property owner to do? Is it A, sell the property? B, lease the property? C, modify the property? Or D, prevent unauthorized entry? The answer is D, prevent unauthorized entry. The right of exclusion grants property owners the authority to deny access to their property, ensuring privacy and control over who can enter their premises.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsy.
Which limitation on the bundle of rights might arise from governmental regulations? Is it A, zoning laws? B, right of enjoyment? C, right of possession? Or D, right to lease? The answer is A, zoning laws. Zoning laws are government-imposed restrictions that limit how property can be used, affecting owners' rights by dictating allowable property uses and structures. Which of the following rights allows a property owner to lease their property to a tenant? Is it A, right to exclude? B, right to lease? C, right of inheritance? Or D, right of enjoyment? The answer is B, right to lease. The right to lease is part of the bundle of rights, allowing an owner to temporarily transfer possession and use of the property to a tenant while retaining ownership. How does the right of possession affect property ownership? Is it A, it allows the owner to occupy and use the property? B, it allows the owner to sell the property? C, it allows the owner to prevent others from entering the property? Or D, It allows the owner to change the property's zoning. The answer is A. It allows the owner to occupy and use the property. The right of possession grants the owner the ability to occupy and use the property. It is a fundamental aspect of ownership, ensuring control over the property. Types of estates and interests in real property. Which of the following estates grants ownership for the duration of a person's life, but does not include the right to pass the property to heirs? Is it A, fee simple absolute, B, leasehold estate, C, life estate, or D, estate for years? The answer is C, life estate. What makes this one tricky? The key is distinguishing between life estates and fee simple absolute. A life estate ends with the life tenant's death and cannot be inherited, unlike fee simple. Which of the following is not a characteristic of a fee simple defeasible estate? Is it A, condition-based ownership, B, possibility of reversion, C, potential for termination, or D, unrestricted use? The answer is D, unrestricted use. What makes this one tricky? Test takers must focus on the not in the question. Fee simple defeasible estates are conditional, but they do not include unrestricted use. In real estate, which type of estate involves ownership, where the property automatically transfers to a third party upon the life tenant's death? Is it A, life estate with reversion, B, life estate with remainder, C, fee simple determinable, or D, estate at will? The answer is B, life estate with remainder. What makes this one tricky? The distinction between reversion and remainder interests is subtle. A remainder interest transfers to a third party, not back to the original owner. Which type of estate allows a tenant to occupy a property indefinitely, but the landlord can terminate the lease at any time without cause? Is it A, estate for years, B, periodic tenancy, C, estate at will, or D, tenancy in common? The answer is C, estate at will. What makes this one tricky? The indefinite nature and termination without cause are key. An estate at will allows for these conditions, unlike other lease types. Legal descriptions and land use. Meets and bounds, lot and block, rectangular survey system. In the meets and bounds system, which of the following elements is not typically used to define a property boundary? Is it A, compass bearings, B, natural landmarks, C, latitude and longitude, or D, distances in feet? The answer is C, latitude and longitude. What makes this one tricky? The meets and bounds system relies on physical landmarks and compass directions. Latitude and longitude are not typically used in this system. This can confuse those familiar with modern geographic tools. Which of the following statements about the lot and block system is false? Is it A, it is often used in urban subdivisions, B, it is commonly used in rural areas, C, it involves a recorded subdivision plat, or D, each lot is assigned a unique number? The answer is B, it is commonly used in rural areas. What makes this one tricky? Test takers might assume all provided statements are true. However, the lot and block system is not typically used in rural areas, which can be misleading. In the rectangular survey system, which of the following is not a component used to define townships? Is it A, range lines, B, township lines, C, section, or D, meets? The answer is D, metas. What makes this one tricky? The question tests knowledge of the rectangular survey system's components. Range lines, township lines, and sections are part of it, but meets are not. Which of the following is not an advantage of using the rectangular survey system? Is it A, greater accuracy in irregular terrain, B, standardization across large areas, C, ease of dividing land into smaller parcels, or D, simplification of legal descriptions? The answer is A, greater accuracy in irregular terrain. What makes this one tricky? The question challenges assumptions about the system's benefits. While standardized, it can be less accurate in irregular terrain, which is a disadvantage. What is the primary function of a benchmark in land surveying? Is it A, defining property boundaries, B, providing a reference point for elevation, C, marking the starting point of a survey, or D, indicating the direction of property lines? The answer is B, providing a reference point for elevation. What makes this one tricky? Test takers might confuse benchmarks with other survey elements. Benchmarks provide a reference point for elevation, which is crucial for accurate land measurement. Which of the following statements about the rectangular survey system is not true? Is it A, it divides land into townships and sections, B, it uses meets and bounds for detailed descriptions, C, it is also known as the public land survey system, or D, it relies on principal meridians and baselines? The answer is B, it uses meets and bounds for detailed descriptions. What makes this one tricky? The question uses negative wording, asking for the incorrect statement. The rectangular survey system does not use meets and bounds, which is a separate method. This can confuse test takers familiar with both systems.
Stuck on a question? Just think of the Birdsy link in the description as your friendly neighborhood superhero, swooping in to save the day with answers. Feel free to explore it now and return to continue. Simply hit pause, and we'll be waiting when you get back.
Zoning, building codes, and police power. Which of the following best describes a conditional use permit in zoning? Is it A, it allows any use of the property without restrictions, B, it permanently changes the zoning classification of the property, C, it permits a use not typically allowed under current zoning, subject to conditions, or D, it is synonymous with a building code requirement? The answer is C, it permits a use not typically allowed under current zoning, subject to conditions. A conditional use permit allows a property to be used in a way that is not typically permitted under current zoning laws, provided certain conditions are met to ensure community welfare. What is the primary purpose of a legal description in real estate transactions? Is it A, to provide an aesthetic description of the property, B, to determine the market value of the property, C, to list all previous owners of the property, or D, to uniquely identify the property in legal documents? The answer is D, to uniquely identify the property in legal documents. A legal description precisely identifies a property to avoid disputes and ensure clarity in transactions, using methods like meets and bounds or lot and block descriptions. How do building codes primarily ensure public safety? Is it A, by setting minimum construction standards for safety and health, B, by regulating the aesthetic design of buildings, C, by determining the property taxes based on construction quality, or D, by allowing unrestricted construction practices? The answer is A, by setting minimum construction standards for safety and health. Building codes establish minimum standards for construction, covering aspects like structural integrity, fire safety, and sanitation to protect public health and safety. How does police power relate to land use regulation? Is it A, by providing financial incentives for property development, B, by enabling governments to enforce zoning and land use regulations, C, by determining the architectural style of buildings, or D, by establishing private property rights? The answer is B, by enabling governments to enforce zoning and land use regulations. Police power allows governments to enforce regulations that protect public health, safety, and welfare, including zoning laws that control land use and development. What is the role of a zoning ordinance in urban planning? Is it A, to regulate land use and guide urban development? B, to provide tax incentives for property owners? C, to assign property values based on location? Or D, to determine the environmental impact of construction? The answer is A, to regulate land use and guide urban development. Zoning ordinances define land use categories and regulations, guiding development and ensuring orderly growth by specifying what activities are permitted in different areas. In the context of zoning, what is a non-conforming use? Is it A, a use that is not permitted under current zoning regulations? B, a use that conforms to current zoning regulations? C, a use that was legally established under old zoning laws but doesn't comply with new ones? Or D, a temporary use granted by a variance? The answer is C, a use that was legally established under old zoning laws but doesn't comply with new ones. A non-conforming use refers to a property use that was legally established according to the zoning regulations at the time but does not comply with new zoning laws. It is typically allowed to continue under a grandfather clause. Eminent domain, Escheat, and taxation. Which of the following is a legal requirement for the government to exercise eminent domain? Is it A, the property must be abandoned? B, the owner must agree to the sale? C, the property must be for public use? Or D, the property must be tax delinquent? The answer is C, the property must be for public use. What makes this one tricky? The options include similar-sounding terms that can confuse test takers. Eminent domain requires public use as a legal justification, which is often misunderstood. Public use means the property must benefit the public, such as roads or schools. Which of the following statements about property taxation is incorrect? Is it A, property taxes are typically collected by local governments? B, property taxes are based on the market value of the property? C, property taxes can fund local services like schools and roads? Or D, property tax rates can vary by jurisdiction? The answer is B, property taxes are based on the market value of the property. What makes this one tricky? The question uses negative wording, requiring careful reading. Property taxes are based on assessed value, not market value. This distinction is crucial as it impacts tax calculations. A local government decides to expand a highway and needs to acquire private land to do so. Which of the following is not a valid justification for using eminent domain? Is it A, to build a new public school? B, to create a public park? C, to develop a private shopping mall? Or D, to improve local road infrastructure? The answer is C, to develop a private shopping mall. What makes this one tricky? The question uses a negative format, requiring careful reading. Eminent domain cannot be used for private gain, only for public use or benefit, like infrastructure. Which of the following actions cannot be justified under eminent domain? Is it A, building a public highway? B, constructing a new school? C, expanding a city park? Or D, developing a private shopping mall? The answer is D, developing a private shopping mall. What makes this one tricky? This question uses absolutes and similar-sounding terms. Eminent domain is not for private benefit, it's for public use. The distinction is crucial between private and public use.
Don't forget to comment below with your tips, challenges, and thoughts on exam preparation. Your experiences can make a big difference for others.
Encumbrances and restrictions. Liens, easements, and encroachments. Which of the following is not typically considered an encumbrance on a property? Is it A, lien? B, easement? C, title insurance policy? Or D, encroachment? The answer is C, title insurance policy. What makes this one tricky? The term encumbrance can include a variety of restrictions or claims on a property. However, a title insurance policy is not an encumbrance, as it is a protection for owners against defects in the title. How can an easement by prescription be terminated? Is it A, by the easement holder's choice, B, by continuous non-use and legal action by the owner, C, by selling the property, or D, by mutual agreement? The answer is B, by continuous non-use and legal action by the owner. What makes this one tricky? Easements by prescription are often misunderstood. Non-use alone is insufficient. The property owner must take action to end the easement, such as through legal proceedings. What is the primary difference between an easement and an encroachment? Is it A, an easement grants ownership, while an encroachment does not? B, an encroachment is legally recorded, unlike an easement? C, an easement is a legal right, whereas an encroachment is unauthorized? Or D, an encroachment can be transferred, while an easement cannot? The answer is C. An easement is a legal right, whereas an encroachment is unauthorized. An easement is a legal right to use another's land for a specific purpose, while an encroachment is an unauthorized intrusion onto another's property. Easements are typically granted, whereas encroachments are often accidental or unintentional. Which scenario describes an encroachment? Is it A, a neighbor's fence extends across the property line? B, a utility company has a right to access a part of the land? C, a property owner has a mortgage on their house? Or D, a shared driveway agreement between neighbors? The answer is A, a neighbor's fence extends across the property line. What makes this one tricky? Encroachments involve unauthorized use or occupation of another's property. A neighbor's fence crossing a boundary line is a classic example, but the term can be confused with easements. Which type of easement is most likely to be created by court order? Is it A, easement by prescription, B, easement by necessity, C, easement in gross, or D, easement by express grant? The answer is B, easement by necessity. What makes this one tricky? Easements by necessity are often misunderstood. They arise when a property is landlocked and requires access, typically granted by a court to ensure reasonable use. Which of the following statements about a lien on property is incorrect? Is it A, liens are financial claims against a property? B, a lien must be satisfied before a property can be transferred? C, a lien allows the lien holder to use the property? Or D, liens can be voluntary or involuntary? The answer is C. A lien allows the lien holder to use the property. What makes this one tricky? Test takers might confuse liens with other encumbrances. A lien is a financial claim against property, not a physical restriction. It does not grant rights to use the property. Private restrictions, CC&Rs, and deed restrictions. Which of the following is not typically found in CC&Rs of a residential community? Is it A, restrictions on exterior paint colors, B, state property tax rates, C, limitations on the number of pets, or D, prohibition of commercial activities? The answer is B, state property tax rates. What makes this one tricky? The question requires identifying what is not commonly included in CC&Rs. CC&Rs usually regulate architectural guidelines and property use, but do not typically address state property tax rates. How might a property owner challenge a deed restriction that limits building height? Is it A, petitioning the local zoning board, B, gaining unanimous neighborhood approval, C, filing a lawsuit to seek a court ruling, or D, requesting a variance from the city? The answer is C, filing a lawsuit to seek a court ruling. What makes this one tricky? The question includes plausible legal actions, but only a court ruling can effectively remove or alter a deed restriction. Which statement about CC&Rs is false? Is it A, CC&Rs are legally binding on property owners? B, CC&Rs can include rules about landscaping? C, CC&Rs are enforced by homeowner associations? Or D, CC&Rs can be easily changed by individual homeowners? The answer is D. CC&Rs can be easily changed by individual homeowners. What makes this one tricky? The question involves understanding that CC&Rs are legally binding and not easily altered, unlike what the false statement suggests. What is a potential legal consequence of violating a deed restriction? Is it A, facing a lawsuit from other property owners? B, immediate eviction from the property? C, loss of property ownership rights? Or D, mandatory community service? The answer is A, facing a lawsuit from other property owners. What makes this one tricky? The question includes potential outcomes, but legal action is a direct result of violating a deed restriction, unlike other listed outcomes. Transfer of property and public records. Deeds, title, and conveyance. Which of the following statements about a deed of trust is not true? Is it A, it involves three parties, borrower, lender, and trustee? B, it is used as security for a loan? C, it guarantees clear title to the property? Or D, it allows for non-judicial foreclosure? The answer is C, it guarantees clear title to the property. What makes this one tricky? The question uses a negative word, not, which requires careful reading. While deeds of trust involve three parties, they do not always guarantee clear title, unlike a warranty deed. Which type of deed offers the greatest protection to the grantee? Is it A, general warranty deed? B, special warranty deed? C, quitclaim deed? Or D, bargain and sale deed? The answer is A, general warranty deed. What makes this one tricky? The question uses similar sounding terms. A general warranty deed provides the highest level of protection, covering all title defects, unlike special warranty deeds or quitclaim deeds. In a real estate transaction, which document is typically recorded to provide public notice of ownership? Is it A, title insurance policy? B, deed? C, purchase agreement? Or D, mortgage note? The answer is B, deed. What makes this one tricky? The question includes similar terms and requires knowledge of standard practices. A deed is recorded to provide public notice, not a title insurance policy or a purchase agreement. Which of the following is not a requirement for a valid deed? Is it A, grantor's signature? B, legal description of the property? C, delivery and acceptance? Or D, grantee's signature? The answer is D, grantee's signature. What makes this one tricky? The question uses a negative format, requiring careful reading. A valid deed does not require the grantee's signature, which is a common misconception. Recording, constructive, and actual notice. Which of the following scenarios does not provide constructive notice to third parties regarding property ownership? Is it A, recording a deed in the county's public records? B, publishing a notice in the local newspaper? C, discussing the sale with a neighbor? Or D, filing a lien with the county clerk? The answer is C, discussing the sale with a neighbor. What makes this one tricky? The question is negatively phrased, which may lead to confusion. Constructive notice is typically provided through public records. A private conversation does not fulfill this requirement. Which statement about actual and constructive notice is true? Is it A, actual notice involves direct knowledge while constructive notice is through public records? B, constructive notice involves direct knowledge while actual notice is through public records? C, actual notice and constructive notice are the same in legal terms? Or D, neither actual nor constructive notice can affect property rights? The answer is A, actual notice involves direct knowledge, while constructive notice is through public records. What makes this one tricky? The options are similarly worded, making it easy to confuse them. Actual notice is direct knowledge, while constructive notice is implied through public records. A buyer finds out about a property lien through a title search. What type of notice is this? Is it A, actual notice, because the buyer directly learned about the lien? B, constructive notice, because it was discovered through public records? C, neither, as the buyer did not speak directly to the lien holder? Or D, both, since the buyer now knows about the lien? The answer is B, constructive notice, because it was discovered through public records. What makes this one tricky? The question includes a specific scenario that may mislead. A title search reveals information in public records, which is constructive notice. Which of the following is least likely to provide actual notice of a property interest? Is it A, a letter sent directly to the property owner? B, an email confirmation of a property transaction? C, a phone call discussing the terms of a sale? Or D, a recorded deed available in public records? The answer is D, a recorded deed available in public records. What makes this one tricky? The question uses least likely, requiring careful reading. Actual notice typically involves direct communication, not just the availability of information.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, tips, and tricks. And don't forget to visit Birdsy.ai for complimentary study sessions with Birdsy, your AI-powered study partner.